Hey, ladies. When you're climbing the corporate ladder and you get knocked up, you have two options. Either play small, play safe and get an abortion, or do this. This is what my friend did. And in a year, she was making more than she ever did in her corporate job. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Let me introduce you to today's guest. She is a writer, speaker, and coach. And today we're going to talk about why getting knocked up is actually a good thing. So, Teao, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Tell us a little bit about your story. Well, I am a writer, speaker, and coach. I am a wife and a mother of 4 beautiful children. So, I've had a career in investment banking, worked at some of the top financial institutions on Wall Street, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. I left the industry after 15 years to start my own firm. And now I write books, I speak around the world, and I coach people who want to leave their 9-to-5 jobs and start their own businesses. That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So, in your book, which by the way, I highly recommend everyone to read it, you share this story about being passed over for a promotion because you were pregnant. Can you elaborate on that? How did that make you feel? And what did you do next? Well, I was working at a bulge bracket investment bank. And when I got pregnant with my 3rd child, I was passed over for a promotion. It was a very male-dominated industry, and my boss didn't think that I would be interested in taking on the role because I was married and I already had 2 kids. He thought that my ambition was to be a full-time mom, and so he passed me over for the promotion. And at that time, I was making a lot of money. I was one of the top producers on my team. And so I felt that I had really proven myself in the industry. And I had always been told that I was ambitious and driven, and that I was a star performer. And so it really came as a shock to me that the firm wouldn't invest in me. And that was really painful. On the one hand, you were making a lot of money. You loved your job. You were good at your job. You had a great reputation in the industry. You got passed over for a promotion. You were pregnant. You had 2 options. Can you tell us what did you do next? I had 2 choices. One was to shrink myself, which meant either to terminate the pregnancy or to go back to work. And not tell anybody that I was pregnant, basically hide the pregnancy and hope that nobody knew. And then the 3rd option was to lean into it. I decided to lean into my pregnancy, figure out a way to make it work. At that time, I had a newborn and a 2-year-old. And I was like, how am I gonna have another baby and manage 3 kids? I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I decided that I wasn't going to terminate the pregnancy and I wasn't going to hide it. I was just going to lean into it and make it work somehow. And within a year, you were consulting the same firm. Yes, exactly. So I took the leap of faith. I resigned from my job, figuring out a way to make it work. And I started my business in the bedroom of our apartment. And within 1 year, I was hired by that same firm to consult on a project. Wow. What was the project about? So, they had a lot of issues related to diversity and inclusion, and they hired me to come in and help them fix it. Amazing. Did you have any plans of starting your own business, or was this just something that kind of fell into your lap? No, I definitely had the entrepreneurial itch. And so even though I loved my job on Wall Street, I always knew that I wanted to start my own business. But I didn't know what that was going to look like. I just knew that I wanted to start my own business. When I got pregnant with my 3rd child, it really gave me the push that I needed to take the leap of faith and to start my own firm. What advice would you give to other women who might be experiencing the same thing? I would say don't shrink yourself. Don't hide. Lean into it. figure out a way to make it work. The worst that can happen is you can go back to your job if it doesn't work out. But I think that we often put limitations on ourselves that aren't really true. And I really truly believe that if we remove those limitations and those ceilings that are placed on us, and we decide to shoot for the stars, that's where we can really shine. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.